Bitcoin is having a very hard time breaking out. And the concerning factor here is that this was and maybe is still bullish consolidation on the chart. But the problem is it should be at a point of breaking out, and it's not. And that makes me concerned that you look at the downside level of support, which is 29,900, 850, and we might be headed back down there. Now, if we break that and we have a daily close below that, so basically this line right here, that basically creates a failed bull flag.
Even with all the recent news about the spot ETF filling, the Binance agreement with the SEC, and all the hype on Twitter, the fact is that Bitcoin still didn't break the 30K region properly. Currently, it still hovers around 30,400 and more than ever. You need to be careful with your trades, or you will get destroyed. And these are some of the reasons why.
I still think there is a decent correlation. I think slowly Bitcoin is losing that correlation, but I still think, again, if you saw a 10% drop in the NASDAQ, I wouldn't believe that that Bitcoin wouldn't at least be dropping as well. So you're right about this 30 to 31,000 level continues to be dead on. And again, what's amazing is we could see here, and let me get rid of this one trend line here.
Please.
This level, this same level goes all the way back to 2021 in the bull market. This low pivot here, these lows here with the mid-cycle dip, all the way over to this area. We hit it in, I think it was April 14th, we tagged it, and look at where we currently are. And we keep on trying to break above this level, but it keeps on failing. So for me, this continues to be the pivot point where it's either the low for the cycle is 100% in at that point, and we're headed probably higher with pullbacks, versus as long as we don't get above this level and stay above it, then I think you could still be looking at downside targets of 20,000 again, 15,700 even, maybe even lower.
When asked if the BlackRock ETF was the game changer Bitcoin needed, this is what Gareth has to say.
I think it's going to happen, right? I think that yeah, the SEC, right, if we look at it, in the SEC has basically labeled these securities, Bitcoin wasn't part of that, and I almost think it's like the SEC throwing a bone to the crypto markets, like, okay, well, we've crushed you on everything else, your hopes and dreams for everything else, so here's one positive. Now, the big thing is does that mean that Bitcoin can't go back to the lows? And I would dare say that when the futures ETF came out in 2021, that was in October of 2021, and that actually marked the top of the crypto market. So if we do get a rally higher, I would just be very cautious once it gets released to see if that marks a short-term high. Yeah, I think again, people buy the rumors and the excitement, and the crypto market is driven by emotion. 99% of it is emotion driven. And I think that people, again, get overexcited about these things, and then when they really are out there, you just say, okay, well, there's gold ETFs, there's this ETFs, there's all these ETFs, and there's still the futures ETF, right? I mean, it's not like you can't play the BITO or the BITI ETF, which is long short Bitcoin. So again, there's options out there. Yes, it's a little bit better than the futures ETF because you don't have the losing value factor of the flip over of contracts, but it's not really a game changer to me overall.
And on top of that, the fear and greed index dropped from over 60 just a few days ago to now at 55. Even though retail investors are still excited short term, it's still not enough to guarantee the next bull run.
So as a player in the crypto space and as a 20-plus year veteran of investing, to me it tells me that the bear market is probably not over. And I'll tell you why, is that when bear markets finally conclude, people are broken. The bulls just, they can't even muster bullishness anymore. And anyone who was living through the dot-coms or the 2009 financial crisis, you remember this. I mean, when we got to those lows in the financial crisis, at that point, people didn't even open up their portfolios. They didn't want to look. They didn't even want to talk about anything anymore. It was like their hopes and dreams had been dashed. And in crypto, that has not happened. And that's a concern to me in terms of telling me that there's still potentially more downside in crypto.
And just 2 days ago, Gareth did this more detailed analysis on the chart that helps understand why.
If we look at resistance, see this high from April 14th, it was 31,045, let's call it. Well, we pierced it here, And then just a couple days ago, we closed right there after piercing. And then look at the selling taking place. Bitcoin is having a very hard time breaking out. And the concerning factor here is that this was and maybe is still bullish consolidation on the chart. But the problem is it should be at a point of breaking out, and it's not. And that makes me concerned that you look at the downside level of support, which is 29,900, 850, and we might be headed back down there. Now, if we break that and we have a daily close below that, so basically this line right here, that basically creates a failed bull flag. Failed bull flags mean that you can potentially have a major move to the downside. So again, let me recap the analysis on the Bitcoin chart here. So number one, Bitcoin failing again to break out. And for those of you that know the methodology, the PPT methodology that I teach in the Winning Trader series, we know that this is a 2x time count. Time counts are very important in charting. So again, for it to fail and not break out on a 2x time count, that is significant. All right, so again, as it comes down here, can it hold this 29.8, 29.9 level? Does it close below? A close below potentially means very bearish price action on Bitcoin. If it can rally up here and close above 31,000 or 31,001 and change, whatever this high pivot is here, that again will be the precursor to staying above for a few days and maybe having a breakout. But right now, this price action is not good.
Also, FedNow will be released this month. This means they are getting ready to introduce their CBDCs sooner and control what everyone is doing with their money.
Housing data was strong recently. Why was housing data strong? Well, think about it. You had people that back in October were looking at their 401ks down 30%. They're now almost back all the way back up. They're feeling better about it. They're saying, okay, well, look at this. I feel wealthy again. I can maybe go out and buy a house. All right. Now, by the way, just the other day, I believe it was on Monday, we got the ISM data. All right. ISM manufacturing. It came in. And again, this is where we're getting a cross section of data. You had consumer confidence very, very strong. You had the housing data strong. The wealth effect stuff was strong. The ISM data, folks, was the weakest it was since May of 2020. It's a new cycle low. Now, why May 2020? May 2020 was 2 months after March, right? March, April, May of 2020 when COVID collapse occurred.
A few days ago, Benjamin Cowan explained why this is happening. There's insufficient liquidity to create the next bull run in crypto. The moves we see in Bitcoin are just a transfer of capital from altcoins to Bitcoin, so you should check this video next to understand everything.